Just a quick disclaimer because I just researched it again and I totally forgot because I researched it before I filmed the video. But the brand is called Malin Goetz. Just to clarify, because I do think I said it wrong in the video. There you go. It's time for another brand review. Today we are discovering Malin Goetz, which is a brand I've heard for quite a long time. I think they are known for their body care in general. And then I think 1 to 2 years ago, dark rum got quite popular on TikTok and on Instagram especially. So I was very intrigued to discover the brand because I've never tried anything by it. So I got this discovery set and today we are discovering all of the perfumes in here and I will tell you which ones I love and which ones are just not for me. As always, let's get into the discovery set itself. I love that this is a substantial, quite hard box. It's quite heavy and weighty. I love the font and the colors, and that's about it. So like a lot of other brands, it does not say anything about the fragrances at all. It just tells you the names and the ingredients, and then also a little bit about the brand itself. So it says explore the collection of 6 modern fragrances inspired by traditional apothecary ingredients and favorite memories. Formulated for gender-neutral appeal, these eau de parfums are sized to travel with you, and that is it. So nice try, but I would so much prefer if there were just the top notes on here, or maybe all of the notes or the memories attached to each of the perfumes, because they do say they are inspired by favorite memories. So I'm so intrigued to know the stories behind the perfumes, but you do not get anything like that. And then once you open it, it just looks like that. And you have the perfumes in here. What I do like is if you pull one out, you can see that behind they have different colors, which I think is nice because then it looks colored, but actually they are not colored. The juice is not colored, I mean. So that's about it. I like the discovery set. We've seen worse, but also there's room for improvement. Okay, so in here we have Bergamot, Cannabis, Dark Rum, Leather, Strawberry, and Vetiver. And we will start from front to back, and then at the end I will tell you which ones I like the most and which ones I don't. And quite a fun side story. When I sniff the perfumes for the first time, usually I am by myself, but this time I had my whole family pretty much with me and they all sniffed it with me, and that was such a nice experience because I love to share my love for perfume with other people, just like you. So the first perfume we discovered was Bergamot, which is, I think, the fan favorite when it comes to my family. Everyone loved it from start to finish. So this is a beautiful citrusy, fresh perfume that is quite spicy. It has something fruity, and it definitely has something classic about it. It reminds me of something like Bergamot 22 by Le Labo, but this one is a little bit more happy and more unisex. The Bergamot 22 I do not wear myself. I love it on my husband, but this one is beautiful. It has a lot of citruses. It has orange, lemon, lime, bergamot, grapefruit. And then the spices come from black pepper and cardamom, ginger. So it is quite spicy and quite loud at first. And then the base is quite woody, but also smooth. It has cedar, amberwood, musk, sandalwood. And I think the sandalwood and the musk together make it quite round and not as woody harsh, if you know what I mean. It is lovely, and because it is quite loud, it's a little bit more long wearing than a lot of other perfumes that are based on those notes. Still, it's not a great performer, unfortunately. But if it's just for the scent, we all loved it. It's such a happy scent. There's some spearmint in here, and you can definitely get this minty green, fresh feeling from it. It's absolutely beautiful. And I was so happy because it was the first one we tried, and it was such a banger. I think I have to think about getting it because the longevity isn't the best, but the scent itself is stunning. Next up, we have one that is called Cannabis, which I'm not the biggest fan of everything around cannabis, but one of my favorite perfumes, Flora Botanica by Balenciaga, has the note, I think, in it, and I adore that one. And also, I looked at the notes and there is no cannabis note in here whatsoever, so I don't know if it's just the marketing. The perfume itself is very fresh as well. It has a strong patchouli in here. It's in the base, but you can smell it from the beginning on. And it's quite loud and harsh. And the younger ones in the family were like, oh my God, oh no. And the older ones were like, oh my God, that's so nice. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, but it is nicely made. This patchouli, I don't know why, but it reminds me of something bready. There's this Gucci unisex perfume. What is it called? Memoir something. It had a similar note in there, which also reminded me of something bready or yeasty. And this one has it as well. So it's a very interesting perfume, but I wouldn't wear it. It has bergamot and black pepper in the top, and they are quite prominent because it is very fresh and spicy, almost like tingles your nose. But then you also have the woody, quite smooth base with sandalwood and cedarwood as well. I think those are two notes that are quite popular within this perfume house. But it's just something interesting, something nice. It stays quite fresh and citrusy, but there is this patchouli in the back that makes it more interesting than other perfumes, but it's just not my kind of thing. Also, just to mention it, it gets compared to Incident Diplomatique by Jouvois, which is quite a popular perfume, I think. Just telling you that, but it's not my favorite. Then we have Dark Rum, and I was so excited for that one because it's so popular, and I don't know, it just fell flat for me. I'm very confused by this perfume. There is plum in here and bergamot, which are notes I love. There's leather and rum, and the combination of plum and rum is usually something I love in the fall and winter time. And then it has amber, milk, and patchouli. And I don't know if it's the patchouli and the leather mixed with those other notes, which is just something that rubs me the wrong way, but it does. It has this milkiness to it, but it just seems wrong because it is mixed with leather and patchouli, and it does not smell like dark rum. I was looking for something sweet and spicy, maybe even jammy, boozy, and this is more like a sweet, fruity spice bomb with patchouli in here. It's also quite fresh, and it's just very confusing. At the same time, I think it is interesting because we smell so many perfumes that smell similar to something else, and this one does not remind me of anything in particular. Yeah, I wore it the other day and I wanted to wash it off because it just did not work on my skin. But on the bright side, I tried leather afterwards and I was head over heels, and I was not expecting it because leather forward scents are usually not the ones I gravitate towards, but this one is so beautifully made and so complex, and it's very, very unisex. And what I also love is that the performance was quite strong, even though it seems very fresh to me. And I was thinking that it's going to last maybe like 1 or 2 hours, but it was lasting for quite a while. So we have pepper, clove, and lotus in the top, and lotus is something I love. It's such a beautiful aquatic type of flower. And then in the heart we have green violet, lily of the valley, and orchid, and I love all three notes. And then in the base you have a prominent leather, cedarwood, and sandalwood again. So you get an idea of what the DNA of this brand is. But this is just so beautiful. I can imagine it on my husband. I love fragrances like that have this quite edgy character to it, but then they are also quite fresh and uplifting and not too difficult to digest, if you know what I mean. But then again, you have those beautiful flowers in here that are also quite strong, and it's such a nice contrast of the leather and the flowers. And it could go so wrong, but it does not. I love it. And when I had it on my arm, I smelled my arm throughout the whole night. I was so unsure because I had so many of the perfumes on my arms and everywhere that I wasn't sure which one it was, but it was this one. So this is definitely a hidden champion for me. Next up we have strawberry, and I have never heard about this one before. And then I researched it, and people say that it is a strawberry perfume, but it's not a synthetic sweet type of strawberry perfume, but more like a green strawberry perfume. And I was very confused when I read that, but it is exactly what it smells like. This has to develop on my skin for quite a while, maybe like 10 minutes. And then afterwards, it's so beautiful. But I have to tell you, this is one of the weakest perfumes I've ever tried. Maybe not the budget ones, but in the niche world and also designer world. Unfortunately, this is one of the weakest perfumes I've ever tried, which is such a shame because it is absolutely beautiful, right up my alley. You know that I like my out of the shower fresh perfumes like the Coach Dreams or J'adore d'Eau, stuff like that, Versace Dylan Blue. And this fits right in there, but still is so special. It is fresh and green and floral, but it has this fruity aspect to it that does remind me of maybe like the leaf of the strawberries, or if you just smell the strawberries from afar. It's so nice. It has bergamot and pink pepper again, so it is quite spritzy and fresh, and it has the spiciness to it. Then it has jasmine, green notes, and the base has orris, cedarwood, musk, and oak moss. And it is definitely also a unisex perfume. Do not think it's going to be, as I said, a sweet and synthetic type of strawberry scent. It is not. It's the most elegant, refined type of strawberry scent you can think of. It's so beautiful. I could douse myself in it. It's also something you can wear every day. It's not something just for spring and summer. It's a beautiful everyday scent, office scent. You just have to overspray with that one a lot. And the last one is called Vetiver. And this one my husband was so excited to try because I think I've told you before that he is in love with the note of vetiver. And this one on my skin at first smelled like vodka with something green and spicy in there. And everyone was like, oh my God, what is it? So at first it's quite loud and sharp. I think it's maybe the cardamom with the bergamot. There's grapefruit zest in here, which are quite sour and sharp altogether. But then as it dries down, the notes tone down as well, and you get a beautiful, fresh, green, subtle vetiver. It's not the vetiver that smells very earthy, like wet earth and like a rainy forest or something. It's just quite woody, and it has something sweet in there, and it has the note of celery seeds, which I think is so fun. It has guaiac wood, amber, African bitter orange, iris. It's very, very nice. I cannot imagine myself wearing it, but for my husband, I think it's going to be a safe blind buy. even though he already smelled it and he loved it. But even without him smelling it, I could have just bought it for him because it is an easy to wear vetiver scent, but also the longevity wasn't the best. And one thing that I just noticed that I wanted to tell you, I do not like the sprayers. I love the bottles, but the sprayers do not have a good quality. So it doesn't have like a nice mist or something, not at all. So I would be worried maybe that they would break easily. Okay, so I took some time and thought about the ranking and I just ranked them here for you. So the last place for me is the dark rum one, which is so funny because it is the most popular, but even on the strip, I do not like it. Like something rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is, but no, it just doesn't work for me and on me. Then I have the cannabis one, which as it dries down, I like more because the patchouli is not as loud and it reminds me a little bit of the bergamot one, but I love the bergamot one so much more that this is just falling a little bit flat for me. Next up, we have the vetiver one, which is beautiful, but it's just not something I would wear myself. But if you like the note of vetiver and maybe if it's too strong, it's a little bit too challenging for you, this one could be it. And then for my top three, number 3 is bergamot, which is so nice. Even in a dry down right now, you can still smell the citruses. It's so happy and uplifting. It's beautiful. And I would definitely wear it in the heat of the summer. Then my top 2 is strawberry. I think it would be my number 1 if it had a better performance. In the dry down, it's even more beautiful. It's so, so nice. So fruity, fresh, elegant. Because a lot of those fresh, fruity scents are smelling a little bit too synthetic or juvenile, and this one is not. It's beautiful. And number 1, which is so funny as well, is the leather one, which I cannot believe, but I love it. I love it. It's so creamy, it's sexy, it's seductive, but still fresh at the same time, and so interesting and complex. And I just love it. I will definitely try it on my husband to see if I like it on him as well. But on me, I adore it. So on my wish list, there are leather and strawberry, definitely. And then bergamot, I think as well. And the vetiver one, maybe for my husband, but not too sure. The other 2 ones, definitely not on my wish list. So this was my review of Malin Goetz. Let me know if you've tried any of the perfumes in this video. What do you think of them? Have you tried other ones? And let me know which ones are in your collection. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!